This fighter built a notorious reputation on a complete lack of sportsmanship, becoming infamous across the regional circuit. The Uzbek competitor, Bobur Abdulazizov, was known for his openly disrespectful attitude towards his opponents. His arrogance, however, led him to commit a critical strategic error. After a prior victory, he openly taunted and swore at his next scheduled opponent, graphically promising the violence he would inflict. This public display of disrespect was directed at the Kazakh fighter, Maksat Esbalatov, a man widely considered the underdog in their upcoming clash. Maksat Esbalatov absorbed the insult and decided on a preemptive strategy. He would not wait for Bobur's trademark dirty tactics. He would seize control first. The moment the fight began, the confident Bobur rushed forward with his typical aggressive flurry, expecting to overwhelm the underdog. But Esbalatov did not retreat. Instead, he stood firm in the pocket and immediately stunned the onrushing bully with a sharp, powerful counter. Esbalatov then proceeded to break him down systematically. He landed a devastating shin-to-thigh low kick, so painfully perfect that Bobur Abdulazizov, the man who never showed mercy, was instantly reduced to visibly wincing and pleading for relief with his expressions. But Maksat Esbalatov remembered. He remembered all the opponents this man had disrespected and unnecessarily injured. Esbalatov was decisively determined to make Bobur repay every bit of karmic debt he had accrued over the years. He gave him no space, no chance to recover, and no opportunity to implement his own game.
He slapped another man's wife. Now he must pay. Shane Mosley never liked Ricardo Mayorga, but when Mayorga disrespected Shane's wife, he crossed a line that no man should ever cross. During the face-off, while Mosley's wife stood between them, Mayorga slapped her on the backside and laughed in his face. The world was shocked. Chaos erupted. The fight was almost canceled. But Mosley looked into the cameras and swore one promise. He will pay for this. When the bell rang, Mayorga came forward like a wild street brawler, throwing heavy punches and mocking Mosley every time he got hit. He laughed. He taunted. He showboated.
Come on, hit me again.
And by the 9th round, he was actually winning on the scorecards. But Mosley didn't come to box. He came for justice. With just 30 seconds left, Mosley landed a brutal right hand that shook Mayorga to his soul. The wild man finally stopped laughing. Shane smelled blood, and he unleashed hell. Mayorga tried to survive, tried to hold, tried to last 5 more seconds, but he couldn't.
Finish him!
Shane Mosley didn't just win. He made Mayorga regret everything.
Knockout. The winner by knockout victory, the pride of Pomona, California.
Even people who have never followed combat sports have seen this face at least once. Before he exploded onto the global stage, UFC President Dana White wasn't sure whether the bold and little-known Irish prospect was worth the risk. After long hesitation, he decided to test the newcomer and set him up against a seasoned veteran, Ivan Buchinger. It was a serious challenge. Technical, durable, experienced. But Conor McGregor entered that fight with one goal: to prove that his confidence was real and his words were backed by action. Even then, McGregor dreamed of taking MMA to a completely new level of popularity. He knew this night could become his ticket to greatness. From the opening moments, it was clear this was a clash between calculated precision and controlled chaos. Conor charged forward at full speed, dominating every exchange with sharp timing and absolute confidence, as if he already knew how the fight would end. Dana White wasn't in the arena that night, but McGregor knew he was being watched. So he didn't just aim to win, he wanted to make a statement that couldn't be ignored. He fought with his hands low, completely relaxed, yet in total control. His jabs were lightning fast. He dictated every movement, reacted twice as fast, and gave Buchinger no room to breathe. By the middle of the first round, the fight no longer looked competitive. It felt inevitable. McGregor seemed to be saying, "Let's end this." Even Buchinger appeared to accept what was coming, absorbing clean shots without an answer. Conor stopped playing. That moment marked the true beginning of the journey that would turn him into Dana White's future superstar.
Like a Viking, he's taken some of that Icelandic fury
I am absolutely certain the thug now lying on the floor has been beaten into a state of profound, life-altering reflection. From this day forward, he will never again dare to provoke a professional boxer in his own domain. Just minutes ago, this Korean gang member, brimming with misplaced confidence, swaggered into a local boxing gym. The gym is run by a solitary former professional boxer who trains clients and minds his own business. Almost immediately upon entering, the gangster openly challenged the owner to a fight, seeking to assert dominance. And like any true professional fighter, the owner saw no reason to refuse such a direct and foolish invitation. The gangster even insisted the entire confrontation be recorded on video, hoping to post it online and gain notoriety for humiliating a boxer. His wish for fame and attention was certainly granted, but not in the way he imagined. He became famous precisely because he was systematically and brutally dismantled by a former pro who was not only significantly larger, but possessed decades more real combat experience. From the moment the informal fight began, the gangster had almost no opportunity to offer meaningful resistance. In a final attempt at intimidation, he even ripped off his shirt, revealing his gang tattoos, foolishly believing this visual threat would unnerve his opponent. The reality was the exact opposite. The boxer, a seasoned veteran, wasn't intimidated. He was amused and then energized. The more brazen and aggressive the gangster became, the more clinical and punishing the gym owner grew. What followed was utterly predictable and brutally one-sided. The thug was rocked back repeatedly by sharp, educated punches he never saw coming. The former boxer had zero intention of showing mercy to someone who had invaded his space-seeking violence. It took only a few clean, powerful shots to reduce the boasting gangster to a pitiful, crumpled heap on the gym floor.
Only mounted, but that one elbow connected with the right side of the face of Rampage. Rampage is bleeding. That's a good jab by DC. Oh, the first eye poke. Hold on, he got poked, he got poked. Oh, no. Stay there. Yep, one finger grazed the eye. Doesn't look too bad, though. Doesn't look too Vitor caught him in a fully extended armbar, and he would not tap.
What happened in this WBC title fight shocked everyone inside the arena. A brutal uppercut made even the coaches grab their heads in disbelief. This bout is remembered as one of the most spectacular heavyweight knockouts in boxing history. Alexander Povetkin stepped into the ring as the challenger, facing Carlos Takam, a fighter who looked nearly unbeatable on paper. Takam entered with a terrifying record, 30 wins and only 1 loss, most of them by knockout, and a reputation built on raw power and fearlessness. Early in the fight, Takam landed a thunderous uppercut directly on Povetkin's chin. The arena gasped, and even Povetkin's corner froze. That punch had ended many fights before, and for a brief moment it seemed Povetkin might be next. But his career was never defined by surrender. He absorbed the shot, stayed on his feet, and allowed his fighting spirit to take control. As the rounds passed, Povetkin began to shift the momentum. He applied steady pressure, closed the distance, and slowly disrupted Takam's rhythm. With patience and experience, he fought his way back into the contest, reminding everyone why he was considered one of the most dangerous heavyweights of his era. By the end of the 9th round, the balance of power had fully changed. Povetkin found his opening and rocked Takam with a clean, powerful strike. Then came the climax. In the 10th round, Takam chose to stand his ground and trade punches. Povetkin was ready. He unleashed a perfectly timed left hook with devastating force. Takam's legs gave out instantly, and he collapsed to the canvas, unable to rise. Povetkin stood over him with fists raised, while Takam needed several minutes to recover. Clear proof of the power and will that defined Alexander Povetkin.
This boxer sent shockwaves through the sport with a single explosive moment. The animosity leading into this clash was unlike anything seen in recent boxing history. Both Terence Crawford and Jose Benavidez Jr. traded endless verbal barbs, but Benavidez crossed a sacred, unforgivable line. He dragged Crawford's mother into the war of words, making the conflict deeply, irreversibly personal. Crawford, a man known for his icy composure, visibly almost lost control right then and there. This fight was no longer just about the championship belt, glory, or money. When the opening bell finally rang, the air in the arena crackled with palpable tension. Benavidez used his significant height and reach advantage to keep Crawford at bay, attempting to box from the outside. He wasn't just fighting, he was performing, continuing to mock Crawford with every gesture, trying to publicly humiliate the champion. But Terence Crawford had a legacy to uphold. No matter the storm, he is a master of adaptation. He observed, calculated, and then began surgically dismantling Benavidez's body with clinical, brutal precision. Then Crawford delivered the final message. As the last seconds of the 12th round ticked away, Terence Crawford unleashed a single devastating left uppercut. The punch detonated with perfect concussive force directly on Jose Benavidez's chin. The challenger collapsed to the canvas, his body folding under the accumulated weight of every insult, every taunt, every line he had crossed. It was over. This is perhaps one of the single most surreal and shocking incidents in the entire history of combat sports.
I didn't touch him. I stood there and tried to kiss me on the lips like a homosexual. I'm not gay. I'm not gay.
This was how a bewildered and defensive Heath Herring later attempted to explain the chaos that unfolded just seconds before his scheduled fight. The scene was the intense face-to-face stare-down, a ritual designed for intimidation and psychological warfare. As Herring and his Japanese opponent, Yoshihiro Kiss Nakao, stood nose to nose, something unimaginable happened. Without a hint of warning, a smirk, or any chance to react, Nakao suddenly lunged forward and planted a full kiss directly on Herring's lips. The reaction was instantaneous and primal. Herring stood frozen for a split second in pure, uncomprehending shock, which then instantly transformed into volcanic rage. His fighting instinct completely overrode his conscious thought. In a blur of motion, he unleashed a single devastating right hand that connected with perfect concussive force. Nakao crumpled to the canvas, knocked out cold before he even hit the ground. There was, however, one monumental problem. The official fight bell had not yet sounded. The ring instantly descended into absolute chaos. Officials, cornermen, and security rushed in as Nakao lay unconscious and Herring stood fuming, trying to process what had just occurred. The scheduled fight was immediately declared a no contest. It was a lesson in boundaries, instinct, and the fact that even the most hardened professionals have lines you simply do not cross.
During this fight, the crowd completely lost their patience because of the wild and disrespectful behavior shown by Ayman Galal's side. That night, Vlad Tweenov stepped into the ring against Ayman Galal, and tension filled the arena from the very first seconds. At one moment, Galal made a throat-cutting gesture, and later objects even flew toward the ring as emotions spiraled out of control. Ayman Galal is known as one of the most dangerous fighters on the African scene. Born and raised in Cairo, he built a reputation as a fast, aggressive, and ruthless competitor who doesn't care who stands in front of him. He fights with raw intensity and believes intimidation is part of the game. Vlad Tweenov, despite his young age, entered the fight as an internationally ranked master of sport with solid experience and discipline. As the fight progressed, the atmosphere became increasingly hostile, then landed an illegal strike that broke Vlad's nose. While Tweenov was down, Galal even connected with a heel strike, crossing another line. After the first knockdown, cameras caught Galal exchanging looks with his coach, and soon his corner began showing open aggression toward Tweenov. The behavior turned chaotic. Despite everything, Vlad Tweenov stayed focused and ultimately secured the victory. Even after the result was clear, Galal's corner refused to calm down. The fight was over, but the poor sportsmanship left a lasting impression on everyone watching.
Finish him!
Take a look at this arrogance. He strikes his opponent on the back of the head simply because his loud knockout predictions were laughed at. For Cobb, this kind of behavior was nothing new. When the reserved Japanese fighter extended his hand as a sign of respect, Cape slapped it away and shoved him aside. He had even managed to get into confrontations with Israel Adesanya before, a fighter far bigger and more experienced, and often got away with these antics. But this time was different. Standing across from him was a living legend of Japanese MMA, Kyoji Horiguchi. From the very first exchange, it became clear that Kape's aggressive showmanship was no match for Horiguchi's level. Kyoji moved with cold, calculated precision, like a machine. It was as if he had read Cape's style line by line, shutting down every attack with calm efficiency. In the second round, Horiguchi dropped the overconfident Cape 3 times, turning him into a helpless target on the canvas. By the time the fight reached its final moments, Cape was exhausted. His face had swollen from the punishment, and the fire that fueled his arrogance was gone. Horiguchi remained composed, methodical, and in complete control, calmly finishing the fight and forcing his opponent to surrender.